You know what that means. The camera's back. We're off of GoPro vlogs, thank God. I was so done with that. I was just kind of getting over it because of the fact that it was so difficult to hold everywhere. I mean, even though it was just on a selfie stick, but it was just annoying because I couldn't see myself and I couldn't play things back. I forgot my transition a couple times. Yeah, it sucked. The only problem right now is my old lens, the lens that I use a ton, when that piece that's on the camera now that I ordered broke, it broke my lens too. So I have to go and buy a new lens. It's gonna cost me another 300 bucks, which I'm not very happy about, but it is what it is at this point. To be 100% honest, I almost didn't film a vlog today. Now the reason I almost didn't film a vlog was because I have my GoPro and I was waiting for that piece to get here and it didn't. It never showed up until about 8 o'clock, which usually FedEx or UPS or any of those shipping companies, they stopped shipping to my house at around 6:30 or 7. I was really confused when it came in, but it came in and I was so exhausted because I kind of just waited and did all kinds of work here at home. And the video that you're watching right now, I actually filmed like 2 hours ago. So I figured, you know, it's every day. I film every single day. I make sure I get a video to you guys every single day. So why skip? Why skip a day when I could at least do something? I thought about it. I thought really hard about what I was gonna talk about because I'm not gonna be doing anything that's crazy interesting today, like riding my scooter to skate park or doing anything on like the pump track or fighting with some crazy lady at the skate park or anything like that. But there is something that I could talk about. And one of the things that a lot of you guys do ask me regardless, you guys always ask me about what my worst crash has been, what's my worst injury, because a lot of you guys have probably seen my nitro crash and that was bad, you know, it sucked, but it definitely wasn't my worst. I've had a lot more close calls than that. Some of the crashes that were actually the worst didn't actually take me out for the longest. For example, the one that actually took me out for the longest was probably my shoulder and back injury. And I actually have the clip from that, which I'll play for you right now. So basically what I was trying to do is I was trying to do a downside tail whip to lip slide on the mega quarter and then heel whip out. Now when I did the tail whip, I will use a Sharpie for example. When I did the tail whip, I planned on catching it with both feet and sliding like this and then making it go the other way. But what had happened, for those of you that you probably can't see it because it was so far away, I did the tail whip, and when I went to catch it, my back foot that I usually catch with just landed on the coping. But I thought in my head, I thought that I had the deck. So that caused me to buck straight over my bars. And when I bucked over my bars, I went over like towards the mega side and I just shot all the way to flat. Now when I was gonna land, I thought I was gonna be able to save it and I thought I was just gonna be okay, get some burns on my arm and be all right. But my arm had actually caught under my body, which made it go up, but my body was going like turning this way, which made my shoulder go this way and pop like through my back kind of, and it pushed my collarbone up over my shoulder as well. And there's a joint in there that basically keeps your collarbone and your shoulders together, like, and it keeps them flat. So like this. See how my collarbone right here, it's pretty in line with your with my shoulder, and you guys can feel that. You can actually look over right now and look at your collarbone, and it'll go pretty straight with your shoulder. There'll be a little bump from where they meet. Well, that little bump, if you put your finger right on that, that's mine. I don't have that anymore. Now on this side, I have a big bump. That's because my collarbone doesn't meet with my arm anymore. See how it dips down like this? I don't know if you can see it that well. Bam. Essentially, it's a separation. It's an AC joint separation. And I think they said it was
severe shoulder separation.
Oh, great. Mackenzie's butting in, so she wants to explain it, obviously. Come explain it, dude. You can't just hop in like that and disappear. What are you even doing back there? What's taking so long? It took you all that time just to get a blanket?
So basically it's called severe shoulder separation, and it's where all of the ligaments that are connecting the clavicle to the scapula have been completely torn and separated. So basically it's not connected at all. It's just loosey-goosey.
Basically my arm's dangling. That's what's going on. There, Bob. That crash took me out for about, I think it was like 6 or 9, no, it was like 9 months. And all together from going from crash day to 100%, which I'm still not at, we'll say to 75%. That took me about 9 months. Now it never hurt, it doesn't hurt now, but my arm pops out constantly. This arm has for a long time too, but this one's really bad now. But let's talk about my actual worst crash. My worst crash happened when I was 15. Let's see, that was 10 years ago, so 2007 this happened. I was riding at my local skate park, which is Cal Oaks. For those of you that don't know what Cal Oaks is, that's the park that has the bank-to-bank hip with the big quarter after it. It's small, concrete. That's the one that's my local park. And I was trying to learn backflip to feeble stalls I was trying to learn flares. And the day that I was trying to learn flares, I was trying to figure out like how to pop out correctly. Now, I didn't have this down yet, but my friend Taylor Illig and Kenny Owens, they both showed up at the skate park and we all wanted to ride. Well, one of the tricks I had for a long time was backflip to stall. Now, when you do backflip to stalls, you have to jump straight up. And when you jump straight up, you flip, land on the quarter pipe in a feeble or whatever, and then you jump back in, everything's done. Well, instead of jumping up like you're supposed to on a backflip to feeble, I jumped out. So that caused me to do my flip, right? So let's say I'm flipping with this hand. I did my flip, and instead of coming down and landing in feeble like this, I came down and I landed on my stomach, on my chest, on that coping. Now, I had boosted pretty high. I think I went like 6 or 7 feet above the quarter because I was going fast because I wanted to make sure I had enough speed to get this trick down, and I died. So let me tell you what all that did. That it cracked 2 ribs. It dislocated my femur from my hip because the coping was like this, so I landed kind of oblique kind of sideways on the coping. So it came into contact with my hip, so it caused my femur to pop out, which is like the biggest bone in your body for those of you that don't know, which was the worst thing ever. And then it broke my hip as well. I broke my chin. I broke my chin. I chipped 2 teeth, and I bruised all kinds of things in here. I had troubles breathing for a really long time. And then I was laying down, and I couldn't move my leg, which freaked me out. It was not good. And being 15 years old, not being able to move your leg for the first time is not a good thing. So I stood up. I stood up. I had help, obviously, and I was gonna try to walk it out because I just thought that something was weird. You know, I thought I was just really sore. Adrenaline was pumping, so I was thinking maybe that was like a reason. And I told him, I was like, all right, let me try to walk on my own. When I put pressure on that leg, there was no standing. So all my weight just went right onto that dislocation, and it made it pop back in, which was good, but it was super painful. It was the gnarliest sound I've ever heard, because when you hear a shoulder pop back in, it's like a little crack. That was like a suction cup. It was like gnarly. Like literally, if you go like that and get a good pop in, that's what it sounded like. Not like that, but it was like a suction cup pop back in, and it was so painful. I ended up cracking my femur as well. Not really bad. Let's get that straight. It wasn't super bad, but it definitely sucked. And I fell right after I had tried to stand up, and that was pretty much that. And I think I was out. I actually wasn't out as long as you would think. When you're young and the only thing that you do is ride your scooter, you want to get back on that thing as soon as possible. So everything was back. It was working correctly. Everything was popped back in. I was still really bruised up. My face was all jacked up, obviously, and I just wanted to go ride. So I think it was 3 weeks after, I was getting pretty ballsy, and I was going to the skate park. I was trying to ride. I was trying to do my thing. There was no YouTube or anything like that, like in my life back then, because that was 10 years ago, and I don't think there was really any vloggers or anything at this time, so there was no real reason to go back and work per se. It was literally just because I loved the sport. I absolutely love scootering. I wanted to go back and get back on my scoot and just do something throughout the day. So that's exactly what I did 2.5, 3 weeks later. I wasn't killing it. I think it took a couple months for me to get back to 100%. I still had like a lot of chest pain, like where my ribs are, and obviously my leg was hurting, but it wasn't hurting so bad to where it was unbearable. But it sucked. But That's probably, at this point, that's probably one of my worst crashes. There have been a lot more. My nitro one was pretty bad. More of the fact that but it could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. I could have broken my back easily, but I didn't. I got super lucky, and I just ended up getting like, basically, it's essentially a blood clot, but it's not like cutting off my circulation to my body or anything like that. It's just, there's basically a big bubble. It's called a hematoma, or like a contusion. It's in my back. That's all I really have. I had some bruising. It's still swollen, but everything back there at this point where that little blood clot, where that contusion is numb. So I don't really feel it, which is good. So that means that I can scooter and feel virtually no pain when I ride. I mean, every now and then when I smack it, it hurts. Sometimes when I'll lay down a little too fast and I'll land on it, it hurts. But I'm pretty much 100% back in my mind. But physically, when you actually get down to how good that is at this point, it's not 100%, but it's good enough to where I don't have to worry about it at all. Eventually, that will go away. Eventually, the blood will be able to make its way through and essentially become normal again, because the blood's pumping through, the blood's not pumping through, so it's not letting it heal fast enough. It is pumping through, but it's just not enough to where everything is okay. So I'm still going through that situation, but we are gonna be fine. I'm not gonna suffer like any lifelong damages or anything like that, I think. I mean, I'm sure later on when I'm older, I'm gonna feel that crash, but other than that, I'm good. I mean, a lot of you guys have been enjoying watching the GoPro footage of that, which is cool with me. That's one thing that I've always learned is if you get the crash on footage, show it. Unless it's something really gnarly, but some people don't really like to show that kind of stuff. Me personally, if I crash and something bad happens, like let's say I break my arm, knock on wood, I want to post it. Like to me it's just a clip. It's like doing any banger, but just the other way. Like it's like you were trying to do a banger, it just didn't work out. But that is a possibility. I mean, a lot of people think that pro riders don't fall or anything like that. Well, obviously we do. Everybody falls, everybody gets hurt. I know a lot of you guys have done some pretty gnarly things to your bodies, and I want to know what they are. Let me know in the comments below. Comment what was your worst crash. Tell me what happened, and tell me what was the outcome. Did you guys break an arm? Did you sprain your ankle? Did you crack your head? Like, let me know. I mean, a lot of you guys might think that this is really, I don't know if you want to call it gruesome, some of the comments that we're gonna get, but I think they're interesting. A lot of people might disagree with me, but I do. So that all being said, I'm pretty much done. Again, I'm sorry, this wasn't like a normal video where I show you guys all kinds of tricks and stuff like that, but I had a long day yesterday, and the day before that was even longer. I ended up posting that video, which was actually 18, I think it was, if I'm correct, I think it was 18 minutes and 8 seconds. But that's a super long video to edit, export, and upload onto YouTube. And I hope a lot of you guys watched that. I had a great time. And if you haven't watched it, click over here, check it out. It's a whole video about me and my boy Tanner riding up at Woodward on the mega ramp. The gap wasn't open, but we rode the quarter and the roll-in, and it was a great time. We were doing some pretty cool stuff, and we did a lot of stuff in the skate parks as well. Anyways, I'm gonna stop explaining that, and I'm pretty much done for the day. Thanks guys so much for watching. As always, I will see you tomorrow. Later.